My plan was always, after the 10-year legal career and a 11-year corporate career, my dream was to go and come and scale this business, and nowhere better to scale it than in the US. And I came here, and of course, 3 months. I was going to take a sabbatical first of 6 months because my wife, she hit the ground running as she came here to work for NIH she's an expert on infectious diseases. So she did a lot of research on that, and she worked with the US and China on TB in Cape Town, and then on Ebola in West Africa. And then she was headhunted by the NIH to come and work for them here. And our timing couldn't have been better, and it couldn't have been worse in the same breath. We arrived here just in time for the pandemic lockdown, which was great for her career because all of a sudden they started doing research on the coronavirus. But it couldn't have been worse for me because, planning a 6 month sabbatical, and now to get my kids into schools and to get them, they didn't have friends, they didn't play the sports here, they've never been taught in English, and to get them settled in, and then I was going to build my scale wingman in the US and globally, and then we had the global pandemic. So triathlon, as you know, fell flat for 2 years. All the events were cancelled. People stopped training. They couldn't go to gyms. The pools were closed. There was nothing to do. So it was a very, very hard time to navigate. And in that process, an opportunity opened at the DC Tri Club, which was before the pandemic one of the biggest in-person triathlon clubs in the world. And I became the coach of their Ironman 70.3 and Olympic distance program. I've been coaching that for 5 years now. So I waited on the sidelines to get Wingman going again. And I knew Wingman would take off once the world reopened and when the events came back. So also then didn't have a work permit. So while sitting on the sidelines, I got to a point where I needed to start, doing something. And I found employment through another company that I worked for 3 years while I was waiting for the world to reopen. And then when I saw this is now the time to pull the trigger, I started scaling Wingman again. And that's exactly the point where I find myself now. I have interest from proper operators in other parts of the world, and the stories that I've told online with, especially Flip. And, Flip gets a lot of attention because he was a celebrity and a favorite rugby player. But I've got so many stories of normal guys and people I would like to see on this show, Rob. Lawyers and normal guys, executives, people who are the most unlikely triathletes that started with a park run. There's one guy I often write about. His name is Milton. He started. I actually met him on my birthday party, but he wasn't the guest. He came to drop someone off, and I said you should hang around, and we just started conversation. And at that party, I invited a lot of my Ironman training buddies. So everybody was sort of in shape on the party, and he kind of stuck out like a sore thumb. And I started talking to him, and I said to him, "Listen, let's get you fit." And he said, well, "Everybody looks so fit here." I said, "Yeah, you next." And I remember he did a park run as his first event. And I remember going to the bike shop to help him source the correct bike. And then he learned to swim just like I did. And he eventually did a 10K and did a half marathon. He started riding with us on weekends. And then he did a 70.3, and then he did Ironman. And yeah, he's completely changed his life. He probably gained 20 years of his life and completely new body composition. And it's just amazing what normal, unfit, overweight people can accomplish if they make the decision and they start where they are and build on that.
100%. And again, it was the influence of hanging around in a room with other people, right? And thinking, shit, I need to be like this as well. And I was saying to someone recently, in fact, I think it was today, about energy levels. When you're in a room with people with good energy and good vibration, that rubs off on you. You might not know exactly what it is at the time, but something's telling you, I've got to do something here. And that's the influence, right? And then we go from there.
Another lesson I learned, that people find excuses not to start. And when they start, they find excuses to stop. And midway, they try and convince themselves that they're not enjoying it. But like you said earlier, if they threw it and they finish it, and then they're on this high, just like when you finish an event, the harder the event and the longer you train for it, the bigger that high is, that try high. It lasts for 2-3 weeks. It's you feel invincible, and then you take that energy to the workplace, and everybody around you scores.
Exactly, that's what I was going to say. Because that high that you ride on for a couple of weeks, hey, that definitely rubs off on other people. And it's the bragging rights, man. It's the bragging rights. And so I wanted to say as well, so I want to turn my focus a little bit towards your wingman setup. So obviously I've come across it first a bunch of years ago, and it's come full circle back to here. And I've had a look, and obviously we've been talking. I really like what I see there, you know, and because I think it's one of those, it speaks to my philosophy. It's one of those where there's no nonsense. You know what I mean? We're dealing with, like you say, those midlife people. We take all the noise away, and we show you what's possible, and you get on there and you do it, you know. And I think your journey in that story that you've told us, that's just an amazing story. Speaks to that, you know. And so you're taking that experience and you're putting it into Wingman, and where it's going now. And
so just on that, in certain things, I'm a perfectionist. When I did these first events and I got my coaching credentials, I wanted to create a program that was bulletproof. You know, that I saw a lot of static programs, and every magazine has a program, and ChatGPT can probably write you a program today. There's many programs you can buy or download or, you know, get for free on the internet. But what I saw, the gap in the market was a program that's flexible. You know, a program that firstly meets you where you are. Because you can't have a guy who's done 10 Ironman on the same program as the guy who's doing his first. You can't have a guy who's learning to swim on the same program as a guy who was a Division 1 swimmer in the US. You have to meet the guy where he is across all three sports. And then that program has to be fluid. That program has to be flexible and adapt, because these guys that I'm coaching now, the majority of them, they're super busy and life happens. You know, kids get sick, they get unexpected work, travel arranged for them, or some deadline comes up, or, you know, personal or social engagements that they can't get out of, and your program has to adapt with that. So I've come up with a system that, you know, across 15 countries, I think we had 500 Ironman finishes, and people find a lot of value in a program that is custom built for you. Yes, I have a framework. I know what works. I know what it takes to get you across the line. But I then take that framework and I apply it differently for different individuals. So you get a custom plan that can change on the spot. And there's a lot of guesswork in the sport, because it's actually 3 sports in one. So when you miss a workout, what must you do now? Must you catch it up? Must you substitute with another one? What do you have to do? And that's where I like to think that's where my expertise come in. I've really made a point to understand why workouts exist. Every workout has a specific purpose. And I now know that if something isn't done or isn't done correctly or is moved or has to move, how do we then progress from there to still get you across the line and still get you across the line, enjoying it and having fun and finishing with a smile on your face. And
wanting to do another one. No, that's brilliant, man. Exactly. I really love it, Stefan. So there's a couple of things I'm going to hold you to here, man. Number one, you talked about a picture of you with, you know, the big cheeks and everything like that, and where you went when you were down and out. So we're going to throw those in there somewhere. It's always good for inspiration, you know, and yes, all the best of luck to you, man, because I think you're on a winner there, man. Absolutely, you know, your story is absolutely inspirational, and people are going to listen to that shit, you know, and I think you're doing absolutely the right thing.